Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Indira Ekadashi Katha narration. The delightful exaltations of Indira Ekadashi are described in the Brahma Vaivarta Puran in the conversation between Sri Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir inquired, O Krishna, O Madhusudan, O killer of the demon Madhu, what is the name of Ekadashi that occurs during the waning moon in the month of Ashwin, September, October? What is the process of following this sublime vrata or the vow, and what merit is obtained by observing it? Lord Krishna replied, the name of this sacred and clement Ekadashi is Indira Ekadashi. By observing this Ekadashi, the sinful reactions of all one's forebearers as well as one's own sinful reactions are completely eradicated. O king, there was once a regal and prosperous king named Indra who lived in Satyug. He was very expert in subduing his enemies and ruled his kingdom with great compassion, surrounded by his children and grandchildren. He lived happily in his city of Mahismatipuri. He was always attached to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu, being a devotee constantly absorbed in cultivating and distributing spiritual knowledge. The king spent his time chanting the holy names of Govinda, the bestower of liberation. One day, as the king was happily sitting on his royal throne, Sri Narad Muni suddenly appeared before him from the sky. Upon seeing the sage Narad, King Indra rose up with folded palms and offered his respectful obeisances unto him. The king then duly worshipped Narad Muni with 16 ingredients. Once the sage was happily seated, he asked Indra, O great king, is everyone happy and prosperous in your kingdom? Is your mind fixed in religious principles? And are you engaged in devotional service to Vishnu? The king replied, O best of sages, everything is well and auspicious by your kind mercy. Today my life has become successful by your darshan, and my performance of sacrifices has borne fruit. O sage among the demigods, please tell me the cause of your blessed visit. After hearing these humble words of the king, Narad Muni said, O lion-like king, now hear about a wonderfully fortunate incident that took place prior to my arrival. O best of kings, once I went to the abode of Yamraj from the abode of Lord Brahma. Yamraj greeted me respectfully and worshipped me with great pomp and fervor. After being comfortably seated, I offered praise to the pious and truthful Yamraj. Then I saw your greatly pious father in the assembly of Yamraj. As a result of breaking a vow, your father had to go there. O king, he gave me a message, and requested me to convey it to you. He said, Indra, the king of Mahismatipuri is my son. O Lord, please tell him that due to some sinful activities committed in my previous life, I am now living in the abode of the Lord of Death, Yamraj. Therefore, in order to free me from my fate, he should observe the vow of Ekadashi known as Indira Ekadashi and give away its piety or punya to me. Then I will be released from my present condition of life. Narad Muni continued, O king, this is your father's request. In order to deliver your father to the spiritual world, you should observe the vow of Indira Ekadashi. King Indra said, O sage amongst the demigods, please explain to me the procedure for following this Indira Ekadashi. Narad Muni replied, on the day before Ekadashi, one should take bath early in the morning and with faith and enthusiasm offer oblations to the forefathers for their satisfaction. On that day, one should eat only once and sleep on the floor at night. On the day of Ekadashi, one should rise early in the morning, brush his teeth, wash his hands and mouth, and take bath. Thereafter, he should take a vow not to indulge in any material enjoyment and thus observe a total fast. He should also pray to Lord, saying, O lotus-eyed one, I take shelter of you. Thereafter, he should feed the brahmanas with sumptuous prasadam and give them dakshina. At the end, one should give the prasadi remnants to the cows. During the day, one should worship Lord Rishikesh by offering sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, lamp, and foodstuffs with devotion. One should remain awake throughout the night while chanting, hearing, and remembering the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should then break fast at appropriate time by eating along with his brothers, children, grandchildren, and relatives while maintaining silence. O king, if you follow this ekadashi as I have just described, your father will certainly attain the abode of Vishnu. After speaking in this way, Narad Muni took his leave and departed. As per the instructions of Narad Muni, King Indrasen strictly observed this ekadashi, accompanied by his children, servants, and others. As a result of observing this ekadashi, flowers showered from the sky, and the father of King Indrasen immediately rode on the back of Garud to abode of Lord Vishnu. Then the saintly King Indrasen ruled his kingdom without any impediment, and at the end of his life he entrusted the kingdom to his son and personally returned to the spiritual world. Such are the unsurmountable glories of Indira Ekadashi. Anyone who reads or hears the narration of this Ekadashi becomes free from all sinful reactions and ultimately returns to the abode of Vishnu. Hare Krishna.